Hey guys, what's up? It is Flags here, and welcome back to another one of my videos. Today we will be counting down the top 10 B&M Hyper roller coasters in the world. So, if you don't know what a B&M Hyper is, it's a hyper roller coaster, which is a roller coaster that differs in height between 200 and 299 feet. And the B&M part is the company. It is manufactured by Bolliger and Mabillard, aka B&M. And this is their model. The B&M Hypers are very controversial as people have mixed opinions on them. Some people say they're one of the best coaster models out there, and others say that they're very forceless. I personally really like these. I've ridden 3, and all 3 of the ones I've ridden are on this list. I love them, and today I am going to showcase these for your entertainment. So let's start off with number 10. Kicking off the top 10 list, we got number 10. We got Raging Bull at Six Flags Great America. So let's talk about this ride. A lot of people consider this the worst B&M Hyper, and I personally disagree. Just like the RMC list, I put Joker at number 10, and that people consider that the worst RMC. But despite popular opinions, I think that there are B&M Hypers that are worse than Raging Bull, and here's why a lot of people think that Raging Bull is the worst. All the other B&M Hypers focus completely on airtime, but this one focuses a little more on positive Gs. It does have those airtime moments here and there, but most of the moments on this ride you'll find are focused on positive Gs. This ride has a lot of helixes, it has a lot of overbank turns, and it has a smaller, more twister-like layout. Many people that enjoy pulling back into their seat all those positive Gs, and maybe people that don't like airtime as much, really enjoy this ride. And I could see how people say that Raging Bull is one of the best B&M Hypers, but for me, I'm putting it at number 10. Number 9 is Apollo's Chariot at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. And in my opinion, it's not that much of an elite hyper. I'm sorry, but let me tell you why. So, Apollo's Chariot, let's talk about this roller coaster. So, it is one of the first B&M Hyper roller coasters ever made, so I'm not gonna, trash on it too much, but I would have to say that this roller coaster is very low on this list just because of some factors like duration. It's one of the shorter B&M Hypers, and it does look like the pacing is a little weak on this ride as well. So now we are going into the number 8 spot. Number 8 is Intimidator at Carowinds. Now this is themed after Dale Earnhardt Sr., and this roller coaster is a very fun roller coaster. This is the first one on the list that I've personally ridden, and I have to say it's a fun ride, putting your hands up the entire time. This ride does have a lot of strong ejector air, but the thing that keeps this really low on the list are either the trims or the short duration. This ride has a very short duration compared to some of the other B&M Hypers out there, which is kind of disappointing, but I'm glad that this ride has some extreme fans out there, fans that think it's one of the best B&M Hypers ever, but in my case, it's number 8. Number 7 is Goliath at Six Flags Over Georgia. Now, this ride just looks fun. This ride looks absolutely incredible. It has that perfect mix of positive Gs and negative Gs. This ride has one of the longest layouts, I think, on a B&M Hyper. Just watching the POV, you think the ride's going to end, but it doesn't. You have that amazing helix, you have some overbank turns, and all that combined in this ride, it looks like a pretty elite hyper. It looks fun, and the airtime hills just never stop. It has some smooth floater and ejector hills, and it looks like one really cool time. To get our number 6 spot, we need to mix rides like Intimidator and put a longer layout on it. Make Intimidator a longer ride. You got Behemoth at Canada's Wonderland. Behemoth looks like a very fun ride. I've not been on it. It is in Canada's Wonderland. So let's talk about this ride. What makes this ride so cool? Just airtime hills after airtime hills. This ride has so many floater and ejector airtime hills. It's incredible. It has one awesome helix that people rave about. People actually think that this is the best ride in Canada, even better than rides like Mindbender and Leviathan. So what do you guys think about Behemoth? I think it's definitely worthy of the number 6 spot. All of those airtime hills, that amazing helix, and one awesome climax. And we're done with number 6. That means we are going into the top 5. So what could number 5 be? This is going to surprise a lot of people. Silver Star at Europa Park. Now, this is one of the older B&M Hypers. I believe it came out in 2002. And let me tell you why this is one of the best, in my opinion. Well, let's talk about just the sheer duration of this ride. Just like rides like Goliath and Behemoth, I cannot tell you how good duration is on rides like this. All of the airtime hills on this ride the turns, and the twists. This just makes it a very long ride. The first half of the ride, you're going over this parking lot on these very tall hills. And then the second part, you turn around, go over more airtime hills, and twist through some trees before the ride is over. That final part looks pretty cool because you really don't know when it's going to end as a first-time rider. You're just in that course of trees, and you don't know where you're going. Plus, this ride gets a couple extra points for having its own theme song. So that's what's going for it. We're going into the number 4 spot, which I believe is the second roller coaster I've ridden that's on this list. It is Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. Now, in my opinion, this roller coaster is different than most of the other B&M Hypers out there. Most of the other B&M Hypers have that good mix of floater and ejector. I feel like this one pulls the most ejector out of these roller coasters. This roller coaster pulls some strong ejector. I rode front row in the morning, and that sounds really sluggish. How was the floater airtime? I noticed a lot of ejector airtime on that ride. Almost every single hill I was flying out of my seat. Plus there's this hill midway through the ride that is meant for ejector air only. It is a shorter hill, and that is probably one of my favorite parts of the ride. The overbank turns just look amazing on this ride, and let's not let out the scenery of this ride. It's over this man-made pond, and it just looks incredible to ride. Looking at Orlando is a pretty cool view too, and looking at the rest of the park is awesome. I love the views on this ride. I love the ejector air on this ride, and another unique factor of this ride are the overbank turns. This ride has so many overbank turns, especially near the end. You know, this ride may be a little sluggish near the end of the ride, but still, it is one kick-butt ride. Number 4 is Nitro at Six Flags Great Adventure. Now, this ride just looks really cool. I love this. This looks awesome, and a lot of roller coaster enthusiasts that go to Six Flags Great Adventure rank Nitro one of the best in the park, and even one of the best in New Jersey. Some people even put this on their top 10 list for best roller coaster they've ridden. Let me tell you why that is. This roller coaster has some awesome stats. This roller coaster has a lot of amazing airtime hills, a very unique hammerhead turn, and after that, some more airtime hills that will lead you back to the end of the ride. Did I mention the helix? This ride has a helix near the end of the ride after the mid-course brake run. And below that helix, there's a couple other airtime hills going down there. So you're really going to enjoy yourself on this ride if you enjoy airtime, if you enjoy speed, if you enjoy some good stats, and once again, if you enjoy some amazing helix action. I don't know, some good positive G's, you know? Number 2 is Diamondback at Kings Island. So this is the last one that I've ridden on this list. Diamondback is my number 3. It ranks over roller coasters like Maverick and Mystic Timbers. That's how good this ride is. It might not be as good as some rides like Steel Vengeance or Fury 325, but it's one of the best in Ohio for sure. I'd say third best in Ohio, actually. I've been to both Cedar Point and Kings Island, and let me tell you my personal couple of experiences on this ride. It is a trip through the trees. It is an awesome ride. It gives you one of the best experiences on any hypercoaster, really. Gives you amazing views of the park, gives you some amazing ejector airtime, and it gives you some awesome views from those turns, from that helix before the mid-course brake run, and do not forget that signature splashdown at the end. All of those elements combined will take you on a wicked ride through the streets of Kings Island's Rivertown. You already know what number 1 is. Number 1 is Shambhala at PortAventura in Spain. Now, why is this the best B&M Hyper? Let's look at something very obvious first. We got stats. Stats are absolutely incredible on this ride. I believe this ride is over 250 feet tall, and that's pretty high. That's a pretty high height. So, other than that, you have some of the most unique elements on a B&M Hyper on this list. That one turnaround, that just looks incredible. Just look how tall that is, too. It has everything previously mentioned on this list on here. You want a splashdown? It's got a splashdown. You want some nice scenery like Mako? This probably has the best scenery out of any hypercoaster. This and Dragon Con make a really good photogenic duo that you probably cannot find at any other park. This roller coaster is one of the most photogenic and scenic rides on Earth. And when you're going up those hills, you just see everything around you. You see the hill next to you, everything's scenic, and it is just a fun experience. Plus, it doesn't go right back to the station. It goes out behind the station, does a couple more airtime hills over there, And this is basically like Mako on steroids. More scenery, and plus, it's all ejector air, I hear. It looks incredible, it looks huge, and it looks like the best B&M Hyper. This is Cedar Flags. What do you think is the best B&M Hyper? Where do you think these roller coasters rank for yourself? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys later.